Hello, friends. So over the last several months, I have been increasingly talking to people who are actively looking at out-of-state investing. As I've been clear throughout my journey that we wrote about in the book, that we've talked about on YouTube, I've never done it. However, I have now interviewed dozens of folks who have done out-of-state investing. So I thought I'd take a minute and sort of document, kind of 5 things that I believe you should do if you're considering out-of-state investing, because it's certainly more risky than investing in your backyard, just because of time and distance and inability to go see a property, walk it, drive by it, all of those things. Again, I think there are some things I wanted just to put out there. Because I know, as we go forward, there will be probably more and more folks looking for out-of-state investing. So I thought I would share my thoughts on the topic as someone, who has done semi sort of out-of-state, right? I invested in a market 2.5 hours away, so it's not in my backyard. But I did admittedly not have to get on an airplane. So I thought I'd share my experiences with you. But as I've been told by many of you, to increase subscribers, I need to ask for it. So if you could do me a favor, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I always seem to forget that, right? I'm no social media expert, just some guy trying to help. Hit the like button. I understand the like buttons help with the algorithm. Not even sure what that is, but go ahead and hit that like button for me. Most importantly for me, however, are the comments. I enjoy your comments. Both on the videos that happen to be on, if they're about that. But more importantly, we have something on this channel called subscriber questions. So if you leave a question, I will do my best to get to that within 72 hours. So I think there's 5 ways to protect yourself. Again, I thought about this for a couple of days. I wanted to get it to a pretty short list. And again, these all come from conversations I've had. So these are real world experiences that I'm about to share with you. And maybe you'll see yourself in one or several of these. First and foremost, do not invest via headlines. I think a lot of us, not only with real estate investing, but life in general, we do a lot of headline reading. And, as I'm sure we all know by now, sometimes headlines can be misleading, right? They don't tell the whole story. And if you're just headline reading and you see, hey, so-and-so factory opening up, 1,000 new jobs coming. Yeah, I don't know, I guess I would say that's accurate, right? Probably not false. But what it's probably not telling you is, okay, down the street, so-and-so factory closed and you just lost 10,000 jobs, right? So you're net negative 9,000 in that simple example. I think watching headlines is fine. I think they sometimes point at opportunities, but they should be opportunities for more due diligence and research, not I read 10 headlines and city X had the best headline and I'm going to go throw 100 grand into that market, right? So use the headlines to kind of maybe be a guide and a guide to do more research. But don't be surprised if some of your research comes back less than rosy. I think you have to learn your market at a base level. This one really concerns me. I've had more and more people talk to me and they say, hey, I heard turnkey provider X or Y or Z in a city that I've never been to talk about double-digit cap rates on multifamilies. And I've never bought an investment. I'm not a landlord. I don't really know what that is, but I got to get in, right? The last 10 years in real estate have been good. I got to get in. I got to get in. And they showed me these 3 properties and I'm going to pick one. I have these conversations and they frighten me, frankly. I don't mind, having conversations and doing those things and going to RIAs and having those conversations with turnkey providers. I think it's all great. But do me a favor. Before you write a check or do a wire, you owe yourself and your family some work, right? Do your homework on the market. And you could do all the homework online, right? As I outlined in my, cheap $99 course, you can do all your research at a base level online, right? You need to do that so you frankly, you don't overspend. I've heard horror stories about turnkey providers targeting rich areas, cash-rich areas, areas with IPO money, and they're overcharging, right? They're saying, sorry, you can't get a loan, so you got to pay cash. And oh, by the way, look at this beautiful house, Victorian, blah, 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 Tudor, whatever. And, it's 80 grand. And to our cash-rich brain and where we live, 80 grand for that beautiful, 2,000 square foot house that has all this character seems awesome. However, if you're on the ground, you're getting laughed at because that house is, 60 grand. And I don't want that to happen to you, right? If you're going to these RIAs and all these other meetings and look at these things, great, good for you. You should. You have to network. Your network is your net worth and all of those things. But hey, if you hear about City X, you need to do what I said in step 1 of my program. You need to do your homework for 30 days. So that when you get pitched a 2,000 square foot Victorian home at 80 grand, you can come back and say, you know what? That's funny because I've seen 5, 6, 7 examples ranging from 55 grand to 65 grand. What's the deal? You're informed now. You're protecting yourself. This $99 course, which I give you 5 steps to, is your insurance policy around a wrong move. I promise you, this will save you lots of money. You've got to learn your market, and I tell you how to do that in the program. Even if you don't do the program, totally fine. Please do not write checks or do wires just because someone said so. That's a huge mistake. Another one is you need to spend as much time vetting the company or the principal of that company as much as possible, as much as the location or the property. Again, I have these conversations. People looking at turnkey providers, and they talk to me for hours about, the house or the city, which is fine, right? They're passionate. I get it. But then we start talking about the company or the owner of the turnkey provider, and they got nothing. People, right? You are investing in a city that you may have never been to. You need to do your research on the person, right, and the company, and figure out if they're as solid as the investment. Again, I have heard horror stories about turnkey providers who, let's just say, don't do a great job. And they are out for themselves. And they're marketing and mouthpieces and all of that. And, if you don't take the time to research them, that's on you, frankly. I'm sorry. So again, I'm excited that you're talking about the location and the property. But as you'll see, if you take the time to get this $99 course, I give you a whole section on your team and how to manage the team. And this team, they don't report to you. That's not what that's meant by that. But if they're going to be your eyes and ears on the ground, you need to manage them and set expectations and manage that. So understand that is on you to understand that your job, your job may not to be to find the asset and turn it around, but you're going to have to manage the team and the relationships. Here's one that's a big deal. I have been in RIA meetings where people get pitched a city and then they get a list of properties at the end and saying 7 available or 3 available or whatever. And it's almost like a bidding war. And again, none of these people have been to the city yet. They know nothing but maybe 45 minutes or an hour presentation of the company. And they're buying stuff already. It hurts me that happens. Real estate investing is forgiving, but people, you make your money when you purchase. If you're overpaying 10, 15, 20% because you didn't do your homework or your research like I asked you to in the program, that's on you again. I don't know how else to say it. But if you're in a rush because you let the excitement, it's like an auction. That's the best thing I can talk about. I went to a bunch of auctions during the crash, and you always go in there with a number, but you can always see the people that are disciplined, right? They have a number, it's X or Y, and they don't go above it. And then you get the newbies that come in and go, oh my God, I got this cash burning a hole in my pocket. I gotta buy. And next thing you know, they're buying a second when they should have bought a first, or they're buying a house that's missing half the garage, or I saw crazy things happen. Please don't be in a rush. Real estate has been around forever. Yeah, sure, the provider may only have 7 available today, but I promise you, You spend 30 days doing your homework, and if you still like the location and the provider, they'll have 7 more. These people are running an assembly line, and this is not their last 7. They're not going out of business. So please do not be in a rush. Last one for you here, right? You have to understand how to compare deals. This is a big deal. This is what I call understanding what a bad, average, good, and great deal are. This is the whole goal of the program that I created because people have been asking for it. And Michael, help me understand how you started. And I started with 3 kind of core tenets. One is how to learn my market, which we've already talked about. 2 was sort of understanding that I need to be able to manage a team because my job took me all over the world. But most importantly, it was how to compare deals. Because you don't compare duplexes with duplexes. I only have limited cash, so I need to understand what's the best investment for my cash. So it was about understanding and comparing deals. And then lastly, just because I had some room on the page, this is a bonus one. Again, I created this $99 course. It's a ridiculous value. It should be a lot more, but it's not about the money for me. Frankly, it is about recouping costs. But there's 5 steps in this program, over 7 hours of content. You could easily do 1 step a weekend. Yeah, I know you're a busy professional. You can easily do 1. I gave you the long URL here because it's onerental@a-time.teachable.com, and then there's my program, how to start 1 rental at a time. This program is available as like an insurance policy. If you're thinking about investing out of state, you need to get this program. I promise you, if you don't get this, you're likely going to overpay thousands of dollars. So if you can spend $99 and learn what a price point should be, this is going to save you oodles of cash. So, might seem selfish. That's not who I am to talk about my program, but it is. If I don't talk about it and you overspend, I feel terrible. I created this for a reason. I spent 3 months of my life putting this together because I'm trying to help people climb the mountain of financial freedom. I did it. It took 15 years. I should have done it faster. And now I'm going to spend the rest of my life trying to help people get up the financial freedom mountain all by themselves. And I'm trying to help do that. So hopefully that's okay. Hopefully that doesn't feel odd. In the end, if you haven't got it yet, please get the book, 1 Rental at a Time, available on Amazon. I'm very proud of it. I appreciate all the selfies you all send me, and the 5-star reviews have been fantastic. Again, do me a favor, hit subscribe, like, and comment. I'd love to hear from you. Have a great day.